right, hello everybody. I'm just super happy to see so many of you here today. This is the second afternoon and you have heard a lot of presentations today and yesterday, so happy to see everybody here with me. We're going to talk about a pretty big topic, how to build a winning data team, how to do that this year in 2022. So my name is Iiris Lahti. I'm one of the co-founders of AI Roots. We are a network of data entrepreneurs and freelancers. I have a background from the media industry, running a sort of like a winning data team myself there for several years. A big learning journey for me personally, but also for Sonoma as a media company. Before that, I was consulting a lot of different companies in different industries, from Accenture, doing performance management and analytics related consulting. But that's enough about me. We did a bit of a research around the topic with AI Roots, with our company. And one of the quotes that really got my attention, that really stopped me there, was this one. In a company with quickly growing data maturity, one of the biggest challenges is finding people who have the right skills, a sense of ownership, and willingness to go the extra mile to make things work. I don't know if you're working in a data team, or you're running a data team, or you're a CDO. Please just raise hand if this sounds familiar to you, if this is something that you have also encountered yourself, running or working in a data team. So I have chopped this speech into pieces. So first we're going to talk a little bit about the trends, what is happening right now in the data talent market, what are the emerging trends that should be considered. Then we're going to talk about what is a data team in the first place, so how to organize it, how to position that in a company, what kind of talent is needed, what kind of resources needed. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the tactics, how to start building a data team. There are various options how to start doing that. And lastly, we're going to talk about what makes a data team a winning data team. So how do you measure the success of a data team? How do you really make it successful? So starting off with the trends. What are the realities of building a data team this year? When starting to do that, when starting to scale up your data competence? First of all, there is a growing amount of industries and companies needing to scale up data development. I worked in media. We had the big struggle, let's say 5 or 7 or 8 years ago. And there are many industries who are doing it right now. And the reality is also that there is a significant gap in the demand and supply. So how many data experts there are out there on the market available for you to recruit or hire, and to the demand for that talent. There's also a bit of like a sense of urgency of realizing business benefits, especially if you're working in a company that has already invested a lot of money to data teams and to technologies. You need to start realizing the benefits. And it's not only the tech people who can do that, so you need also different variety of skills, also to the business side, to really make things happen. And everybody have been working remotely for the past few years due to the pandemic, but you can also see that there has been a dramatic change in the working environment. You have seen in the USA the Great Resignation. There has been a lot of changes in the working environment in the data industry as well. What we see in our work at AI Roots, working with freelancers, it's really booming, at least in Finland where we're mostly based at. So having different kinds of employment opportunities and also working with international careers. It has been nice talking to Swedish companies, because previously I was thinking that, can we work as a Finnish company with a Swedish company? But now I think it's opening up. So utilizing international talent has become more common and realistic. So I would say one of the biggest challenges for any current or future CDO is how to find the talent. In a little research, we found out that this was one of the most burning questions for CDOs. So 68% that this is their biggest worry at the moment, how to find available consultants or people to hire. Starting off with the team building tactics. So what are the things that you can then start doing? Obviously, first one is recruitment. So how to build the employee brand that really attracts the talent to work for you. And also how to retain the current employees that you have managed to recruit in the past. How to select the right strategic partners for you that can really upskill your team, where you find the available consultants or experts working for you when you need to really boost and scale up your team. And then also we have seen here in this event a lot of low-code, no-code solutions that are opening up the possibilities for upskilling existing employees, participating to the data development as well. So not only data engineers, but people who can build up Power BI dashboards or even start exploring data science tools gradually. We have also investigated what is the most common share of using externals versus having an in-house team. A little bit more than half of the companies say that it's somewhere between 20 to 50% that they use externals. 1/4 of the companies say that it's over 50% of the share of externals. And obviously this varies when you go along in the data journey. You might need to start with more externals and then gradually you find your ways how to recruit people and move more towards the in-house team. We also investigated what are the organizational models that you will have when starting to build a data team. There is a central model where basically all the people have been centralized into a single team that is operating the data platforms and building the data assets. Then you have the hybrid model. This is the most common one, where you are centralizing one strategic part of that development work, and then you have allocated, let's say, business analysts or data scientists to business-specific use cases and different business-specific roles, or have even started to build different kinds of teams in business units. This is something that we used at Sonoma as well. And then you also have the decentralized model, where you don't have a dedicated central team for data, and this is the most rare option. But there is obviously place for all of these teams, and they can be also be functioning in different phases of the data journey. So you might start with the central model, go to the hybrid one, or you might end up having like a decentralized model at first, and then start centralizing it once you go forward. So there is also a shipment happening in the company once the data journey goes forward. Realizing that there is actually a great variety of different roles that is needed. So you obviously need to have the basic technical skills in a data team. So having data ML engineers, having data scientists, having the data architects who are taking care of the basics. So common data assets, the data platforms, the architecture and tools and such. But then also realizing that these emerging business roles are growing as well. So you need to have somebody who is leading the work, doing the prioritization, data stewards who are doing their share of the data governance, so having the business owners for the data, and also data strategists who are working in the data innovation side, so figuring out new options and new innovations, where to use data for. And then you have data analysts or citizen data developers who are working in between, so partially technical roles and partially business roles. We also investigated what are the most common roles that you have over 10 of these roles in your data team. So, you know, it's not a surprise. So data analysts, data engineers, data architects are the most common ones. They are also the ones that companies see that are growing. ML engineers is something that not many companies have that many at the moment, but it's definitely a growing area. Interesting part of this one that I was expecting to see a lot more growth for these business type of roles, but we'll see what will happen, because these are the ones that really also make the benefits happen and help you to realize those. This is actually Elias. This is one of the freelancers in our network, and we collaborated with Head AI to do the nice visualization of his skills. And it's actually interesting when you start looking at it. You need to have machine learning skills. You need to know, different kinds of cloud environments. You need to know a little bit about DevOps. You need to know a lot of different kinds of tools. You need to collaborate with the business. You need to know how to do testing and so forth. It's a big demand for a data expert nowadays. How to work effectively. And also the other way around, when you are a person like Elias who has this kind of skills map, one of the things that Elias started to configure that could he do this independently as a freelancer, and then he started his own business and kind of like productized his skills map in a way. And we also see this a lot happening. So there are multiple different career options for a data expert. So obviously, if you find a company that is like really heavily investing into data, has super interesting projects to work on, and it also is investing into your learning, it's a good place to be as a data expert, working in a strong in-house team. Then there is also a lot of big consulting companies who are especially for the more junior ones who need to explore and go and find out different, this was also my career path, so finding out different industries, companies, how they operate, how they work with data, and working in different kinds of teams and learning from others. And once you move in your career path, then freelancing obviously is a good option as well. This is something that we see a lot at AI Roots. So it's a great employment opportunity. There is such a high demand for data talent nowadays, and many of us who are working as entrepreneurs are looking for sense of freedom, selecting the projects that are most interesting for you. And also companies have higher maturity to hiring externals, so this is definitely something to look into. But not only talking about it, I actually wanted to showcase you a few examples, different kinds of tactics, how companies have approached this issue or challenge of how to build a winning data team. These are all companies that I currently collaborate with, and there is a permission to showcase these examples. The first one is Verona. They have done a really good work in terms of like starting to build the basics and starting to build the foundation. So they have crisp and clear strategy, what to do with the data. They have clever tactics, how they have started to ramp up their data ops team. They have started to develop these service models towards their businesses. And also they have started training programs for people to increasing understanding of what is possible with data. Another very different example is from Crockett Technologies. They're a very data-intensive company, and they had the challenge that, hey, how are we going to build up this AI and data science team? And one of the tactics that they used is that they had a really, really super senior, experienced data scientist who started to build up that team, was working in an interim role, so kind of like external, but inside that company, like their best, they really wanted the company to succeed. They also collaborated a lot with universities and schools to boost innovation, and they started really on an early stage exploring the international talent market to grow up their team. Then Connect Range, this is an example that we heard on stage today. I have privilege of working with Oliveka. So they have a really like a team of superstars, a data science lab, and they had the challenge that they're super technical experts, but how to build up the collaboration models with the business. Business didn't necessarily understand all the possibilities that there were with data science, so they also needed to grow and increase that understanding. So solution was a training program that we did together with them, learning how to do data design and different kinds of methods, how to involve the business stakeholders and how data scientists can facilitate that discussions, and also how they need to understand the business problems that they're trying to solve with data science. And last example, Sonoma. As they are working, a media company, they have had to already like years build up their data team, so they're pretty mature in that sense. They have a hybrid data model, they have super strong business ownership, so business is really driving the data forward. and they are exploring different kinds of citizen data development efforts. They're trying to also have done a lot of training programs for the business users. They have tactical outsourcing strategies, so they have pretty nice sourcing system that they can explore different opportunities if they want to find suitable consultants. And whenever there is an external working in the team, it's working as part of the in-house team, so equal member there. So I would say that they have a pretty established way of scaling up and building the data team also going forward and as the needs mature. So finally, going into the definition of a winning data team. So, okay, you have a data team. How do you create a winning data team? What defines it? First one, I would say that it's the need to create business value. Whatever use case you're doing, whatever projects you're doing, you should always consider how to measure the business value out from it. Second one is how to scale and mature that team. Once your data journey goes forward, you might start with the very simple reporting cases, but once you move forward into the more intelligent solutions, you need to have a different kind of team going forward. And finding the tactics that help you scale up or down and also mature that team is super, super important. And you don't also want to be in a position where suddenly people leave and you don't have a tactic how to hire back that talent. Third one is having a clear strategic focus and role. So the company really needs to invest into data. It really needs to trust that it's one of the most important ingredients for the company's success. So, it's one of the tactics how the company implements its strategy. So having that role and focus is key to having a winning data team. Then fourth one is to celebrate diversity. As we talked, you need a lot of different kinds of skills to be able to succeed. You need the technical skills, you need the business skills, you need different personalities, different gender seniority. You need to have juniors who are growing, seniors who can coach those juniors. So having a diverse team is one of the really important ingredients in building a winning data team. And then the focus of that team should not be like, hey, let's just play with the data ourselves, but more like how we can open it up to the whole organization, how we can scale up the wide data usage across the organizations. Heavy focus on making data available, usable, easy to use across the organization. And then the sixth one is kind of like moving more from the, hey, we are a data team, we're developing these things, but more like having the kind of like feeling that we are creating a really important service for this company, managing the data as a service type of attitude, even though you're not productizing it to your customers, but you're productizing the service towards your internal customers, maybe business units or other business stakeholders, and having a super high standard for data quality and managing the data in that company. So final conclusions about my topic about how to build a winning data team. So first one was that we talked about different tactics. So first one was recruiting, retaining that talent, partnering up, selecting the level of outsourcing that is suitable for your company at this very moment, and also how to upskill your current employees to understand data more and collaborate with the data scientists or engineers in those projects, and if they can also start doing development themselves. Then understanding what makes your team a winning team. So ensuring that the team has really clear strategic role and focus, and you've really focused on business value creation, and you're managing data as a service towards your company. And then optimizing also, what does a data team mean for your company? So what are the technical skills? What are the big business skills that you really need? How are you going to scale and mature going forward? And then selecting your organizational model. So are you optimizing your hybrid model? What is your allocation model? Then also how you allocate the costs of the data team towards the business units. Managing your internal politics, finding the right model that fits for your organization and organization culture. And then finally, understanding where we are at the moment in 2022. So there is a significant gap, as we talked, in terms of how much talent we have available and how much need for that talent there is in companies in various industries. So understanding that this is something you really need to focus on. I was actually pretty impressed of, for example, Telia, how they have like big team here, big presentation in the big stage. That's exactly what many companies should be doing when building up their employee brand for the data people, and